From Walden University's Career Services Center, welcome to Marketing Your Qualifications for Pre-K through 12 Educators and Administrators. I'm Dina Berggren, a member of your Walden Career Services Advising team. Are you seeking to take the next steps in your education career? Maybe wondering what strategies can help you make a broader impact in the education field. In this program, we will generate many new ideas for you. Before we delve into our program, I'd like to introduce you to the Career Services team. For those of you who are not familiar with the Career Services Center, here is a slide of our team members. I am Dina Berggren on the left. Nicole Skalski is also joining us on this program to help field our questions. We all work out of the Minneapolis office, and our mission is to educate, coach, and advise our learners to proactively manage their careers. Joining me today is also Dr. Gloria Kumagai. Dr. Kumagai is the Specialization Coordinator of the EDS and MS-Ed ELA Principal Licensure Programs. So welcome to the program, Dr. Kumagai.
Thank you, Dina, and I would like to give a warm welcome to everyone on the webinar, especially the students in our program. I'm sure you'll find that this is a very helpful webinar because it's going to give you strategies and ideas that you can use throughout not only this program, but throughout your whole career, because you can constantly keep branding yourself and keep abreast of the kinds of contributions and achievements you're making in the field of education in order to better brand yourself. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Dr. Kumagai. And I wanted to also share a little bit about Dr. Kumagai before we get started. She has been an educator for over 40 years, and she began her career as a school social worker in an elementary school. She has held district-level positions in staff development and multicultural education prior to becoming a building leader. She served as an elementary school principal for 19 years and was a National Distinguished Principal for Minnesota in 2002. One of her schools was recognized as a Blue Ribbon School in 2001. While serving as a principal, she was an active member of the State Principals Association, serving on the statewide negotiations committee. She chaired negotiations for her district's principals for several years, and she also taught administrative licensure students at the University of Minnesota prior to joining Walden in 2009. And with this introduction, we will now move on to our objectives for today's session. So today we will uncover online and offline opportunities to help you expand your professional network. We will then share strategies on how to identify, expand, and communicate your unique brand as an educator or administrator. And finally, we'll tackle ways to differentiate yourself on your application materials. So let's get started with networking. Networking is defined as the art of building and sustaining mutually beneficial relationships. Did you know that 70 to 80% of jobs are obtained through networking? Therefore, networking is a key piece of your overall career success, allowing you to share your knowledge and insights with other educators, to stay current on hot topics and trends in the education field, gain insider information on employers and upcoming job openings, make a positive impression on a future employer in a non-interview context, and establish your professional reputation or brand in the broader education community. Before we share some specific networking strategies, let's get some feedback from you, the audience. Please take a moment to type in your favorite networking strategy in the questions box, and I will read some of your responses. So type in the questions box. What strategy has worked for you in the past? Who did you connect with that really made a difference in your career? So let's take a moment and I will read some of your responses. And thank you for those of you who are typing in your responses. This is great. Engagement on this program can help us have a much more meaningful session. So thank you, everyone who is contributing. So networking through conferences, great. We'll talk about that today. Through LinkedIn, through Skype. Attend and connect at professional conferences. Connecting at committee meetings and conferences. So a lot of connections at conferences, which is great. Sitting with other educators at different conferences, not from my district. So going beyond your school district, meeting individuals in other districts, professional development opportunities. Many of you are saying conferences. Express interest in principal's role to your supervisor. Okay, excellent. LinkedIn, again, is mentioned, professional blogs, making connections at professional development workshops, emails and forums. Excellent. And I like to use the career services department of whatever school I'm affiliated with. So hopefully all of you will connect with career services at Walden, since most of you are Walden students and some are alumni. And I also use people in my social network for jobs, okay? So reaching out to your social network and networking through clinical experiences, through academic residencies. So for those of you who are doctoral students, may have networked at academic residencies, visiting with others in the field, and connecting with mentors, district in-services, communicating with current and former colleagues, sharing ideas via email and other events. Wow, we have so many great, great comments here. I'm trying to read some of the main ones here. And social networking with former coworkers in the field and regional trainings, and also casual conversations with individuals in similar fields. So thank you for all of you who contributed, and I read most of those responses. So thank you, everyone. And one of my favorite networking strategies is active involvement in professional associations. So many of you mentioned professional associations, and I completely agree with you that professional associations are great places to network. So what are some ways to get involved? Find a local chapter and seek out opportunities to volunteer, to lead discussions, write articles and submit articles to their newsletter or blog, and organize events. That's a great way to take an active role in a professional association. And attend and present at professional conferences. What a great way to get noticed. Reach out to other members. Many times, if you're a member, you have access to the membership directory. Reach out to other members of professional associations for informational meetings and build connections based on common interests. And finally, professional associations help increase your visibility in your professional community. People get to know who you are and what you can contribute. So this is very powerful when you are looking for career advancement. And Dr. Kumagai, could you share how you've actively participated in professional associations and build your network as an education professional?
I will do that, Dina. I was involved at the district level and the state level and the national level, particularly with the elementary school principals associations. And within the state organization, I held the position of negotiations committee member, where I met with other district negotiation chairs and we came up with surveys in terms of salary and working conditions and how each of us could take back to our own districts how to better our bargaining positions. It also offered an opportunity to attend conferences and professional development workshops that the organization offers. I can't stress enough the importance of being involved in your professional organization. And for those who are aspiring to be school leaders, either at the building or district level, for example, a lot of the national organizations as well as the state affiliates have membership categories for you, such as aspiring principal or associates. So do take advantage of those. It's a great way to meet a diversity of other leaders in terms of age and experience, culturally, and it's just great for networking. So I would really recommend involvement in a professional association in which you aspire to be a member of. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Dr. Kumagai. I completely agree. Involvement in professional associations helps you connect with other individuals, and it's great to belong to a national organization like the National Education Association or the American Association of School Administrators, but finding a local chapter really can make an impact for your career. So thank you for sharing these insights. Okay, and now let's generate some ideas on how to build your network internally within your school or district. I would like to first share a story of a Ph.D. in education student who actively networked within his school district. John started out as a music teacher and taught at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. After several years of teaching, he obtained his administrator license. A few years later, he was selected to fill the role of assistant principal at one of the high schools in his school district, which then led to assistant principal roles at multiple schools and finally a full-time principal position. So what activities and networking strategies led to John's rapid career progression? John assumed teacher leadership roles that included serving on committees, working with his principal on behalf of teachers, bringing professional development opportunities to his school, and serving as the faculty senate chairperson for his school. As a teacher and principal, he also took advantage of professional development and networking activities inside and outside of his school district. These included participation in state-level leadership institutes upon recommendation from the county superintendent, and also active participation in discussions, blogs, and listservs related to educational topics. So, hearing John's story, you want to consider what activities you could engage in to increase your networking efforts and visibility within your school district and/or professional community. Dr. Kumagai, could you share with us your experience serving on school and district level committees?
Thank you, Dina. I will do that. When I was in the school, at the school level, and I was not a principal, I served on school committees like the School Improvement Plan Committee. I also served at the very beginning when I was a neophyte, I served on the Social Committee, and then eventually became chair of that, and then branched out into other other committees that were more involved in the school in terms of a bigger picture, like the school plan, school improvement, the data committee that we looked at data, and then that morphed into professional learning communities. That gives you the opportunity to also chair those committees at the school level and to build your facilitation skills as a leader. And then also take advantage of committees that the district might have. They are always looking for school people to serve on those committees. Usually those committees broaden out and involve community members. So again, that gives you visibility not only at the district level, but also at the community level. And that's what you want. In terms of building your brand, you want to be visible all the time. Thank you, Dina.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Kumagai. And I wanted to get some feedback from you, the audience, because many of you are educators and administrators within K through 12. So what additional leadership roles or collaborative projects have you taken on to expand your internal network? Please type in your responses in the question box, and I'll try to read some of those responses for us. And like John, inviting speakers for professional development or experts in your field or school to your school district is a very great way to get noticed and take on leadership roles, or partnering up with a colleague to maybe co-facilitate a training session for other teachers or administrators, or maybe organize an information sharing group. So what are some ways that you have actively engaged? Okay, excellent. Many responses are coming in. So curriculum and or district textbook committee, okay, serving on a committee, and started leading professional development sessions for new teachers. Excellent. What a great way to take on leadership roles. And pursuing national board certification. I served on the committee for creating STEM summer camp at my middle school. Wonderful. Service learning projects, literacy committee member, volunteered to facilitate a district-wide professional development session, inviting educators to support my school agenda, parental community involvement chairperson, organizing fundraisers, school leadership team, grade level chairperson, teacher forum, writing grants and starting clubs. So getting a grant for your school, excellent. And School Improvement Council, School Leadership Committee. Again, many of you are already serving on committees. This is great and taking on a leadership role. PTA liaison. And I have organized POW, Parent Observation Week, to bring in parent collaboration in the school. I have taken on roles such as lead teacher and Teacher Induction Academy mentor. I serve on PBIS committee. Okay, so multiple leadership roles there. And chairing spelling bees and student events and more professional development. Curriculum writing for the district. Served on the DEAC committee with my district. Okay, and we have many more ideas that are coming in here. This is wonderful. So coordinated professional development team leader, department chair, presented to the county leadership team member. So multiple roles. Again, parent workshops and mini career fair for business professionals to engage with students. And we have a few more. We have so many great responses here. Thank you, everyone. So working on school and innovative projects and PBIS and anti-bullying committee and developing a literacy workshop. So thank you for your input. These are some great ideas to share with each other on ways that you can network internally. So with that, let's explore other ways that you can build your network. So how else can you expand your network? Well, you want to connect with the Walden community. We have students, faculty, and alumni who work in your current or future field. Many different education programs from bachelor's all the way to our PhD programs. So connect not only with individuals in your program, but expand to the broader Walden community. And also get involved in community, social, and faith-based organizations. So for example, my involvement in my daughter's school led to connections with an education technology specialist for her school district and also an elementary school principal. So stay connected also with current and former coworkers, because you never know where people can end up 2, 5, 10 years from now. And some of you have commented that you are working on networking with former colleagues and coworkers. And don't forget about alumni associations. So reach out to your alma mater and connect. And take time to volunteer in your community and support Walden's social change mission. So the Walden Service Network is a great way to get involved. And we have our Global Days of Service coming up. So the Walden Service Network is a network of Walden volunteers. So sign up and get involved and see where other Walden students have volunteered. Also, volunteermatch.org offers both local and virtual volunteer opportunities. And Idealist is another great volunteer site. So many ideas here to get involved. And finally, meetup.com is a site that allows you to connect with local people who have common interests. So for instance, I can join an EdTech meetup in my local area. Now that we've focused on face-to-face networking, how can you take your networking efforts online and use online networking to connect? Two popular networking sites are LinkedIn and Twitter. And LinkedIn is the largest professional networking site with over 380 million users that allows you to build connections with other professionals in your field. If you are not on LinkedIn, we strongly encourage all of our students to join LinkedIn because this is the largest professional networking site. Also, Twitter allows you to send short messages called tweets and follow education thought leaders and update your network on your professional activities. Other social media tools include Facebook, Plaxo, Instant Messaging, and of course, there are many more. So first, let's take a look at social networking opportunities you can find here at Walden. Featured here is the Career Services Center LinkedIn group. If you haven't joined our group yet, we invite you to do so. As you can see, we have over 3,300 members. And the Career Services Center LinkedIn group is intended to promote networking and exchange career-related information within the Walden community. Other Walden LinkedIn groups you may consider joining are the largest Walden University LinkedIn group, the Richard W. Riley College of Education and Leadership Networking group, to connect with other educators and administrators or future educators and administrators, and also other groups for Walden alumni, career seekers, and doctoral students are available. So check out the Walden University LinkedIn groups. Did you also know that there are many LinkedIn groups out there for educators and administrators outside of Walden? So featured here are a few groups we recommend. Principals, school directors, deans, and educational leaders. You can see here they have almost 40,000 members. That's a huge group. The School Principal Network, the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development's LinkedIn group, Principals and Teachers Network, and Teachers Lounge. So for those of you in the audience who are currently on LinkedIn, what LinkedIn groups are you engaged in? Please type in your responses in the questions box So for those of you who are on LinkedIn, what are some of your favorite LinkedIn groups? And maybe if you're actively engaged in a LinkedIn group, share your experience. Okay, so AASA, ASCD, AERA, so professional associations related to education. So most professional associations have LinkedIn groups. So this is really important. If you're a part of a professional association, check if they have a LinkedIn group. The American Speech Language Association, many of you are a part of ASCD, and many of you are networking with colleagues around the district. Excellent. So those of you who are engaged on LinkedIn, you're also joining LinkedIn groups associated with your professional associations. And hopefully this list that we provided can expand your LinkedIn groups. Okay, I'm connected with the Walden Career Services LinkedIn group. Yay! I hope all of you join our LinkedIn group after today's session. And also the International Society for Technology in Education. So ISTE has a LinkedIn group, and that's a great group. And other EdTech groups and educational publishers. Okay. We also have someone who's already a member of Teachers Lounge. So some of you are already familiar with some of these groups. So for those of you not on LinkedIn, sign up and create an account. And for those of you who are active members, join LinkedIn groups related to your field and share information, learn more, and connect with others who are also group members. So thank you for your input. And in addition to LinkedIn, you can also get started on Twitter. Follow the Career Services Center on Twitter. And here is a screenshot of the Twitter for Career Services. And we share short career tips and articles to keep you motivated and engaged in your career development. So now that we've explored offline and online networking strategies and activities, let's learn how to stand out and get noticed through your brand. So what is branding and why is it important? Your brand is what makes you stand out from other educators and administrators. It's what makes you unique. Your strengths, your accomplishments, and your experiences that led you to where you are now and also can define where you'd like to go in the future. To assess your brand, reflect on the following questions. What are my unique strengths, accomplishments, and experiences? How do I set myself apart from other educators and administrators? In other words, what's my competitive edge? And how do other professionals perceive me? If you'd like feedback about your branding attributes from colleagues or others in your network, we recommend the online branding assessment 360 Reach. This assessment allows you to provide email addresses of individuals in your network, and they receive a survey about your branding attributes. So this is a great way to get feedback on how others perceive you. What are some ways then to promote your brand? Consider creating and practicing your mini bio or elevator pitch. Have you ever been asked this question? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Considering all of your accomplishments and strengths, how can you provide a short, succinct response to this very important question. Practice your elevator pitch to boost your confidence during networking events and during interviews. What are additional ways you can promote your brand? Market your brand through your application materials. Develop strong resumes, CVs, and cover letters that highlight your brand. Differentiate yourself through your career summary and create an achievements-focused resume customized to the organization or school. And finally, communicate your brand on your application materials and beyond. So what can that look like? Here's an example of a branded career summary. A career summary, which appears at the top of your resume, allows you to highlight your brand and share your big picture accomplishments. It allows you to quantify your years of experience. In this case, diversified background with over 10 years of combined experience. Share your areas of expertise and showcase your expertise. Focus on how you provide value and solve problems through specific achievements. You want to incorporate keywords and buzzwords in your industry and also establish a clear fit between your skills and the core qualifications of your job target. So including a career summary can boost your resume and allow you to clearly articulate your brand. So how do you create impactful achievement statements and track your accomplishments? Use the CAR formula, challenge, action, results. Ask yourself, what was the problem that I was faced with? What action did I take? And what was the result of my efforts? In other words, how many students or teachers were served? What money was saved or raised? Maybe you applied for a grant, right? Then raised money for your school. And what standards were improved or what goals were met. So give yourself credit for your hard work by keeping a CAR log for resumes and CVs and refer to it during your performance reviews. So keep track of all of those great accomplishments. And fine-tune your accomplishments to create targeted cover letters. This is also very important. Tie in your prior successes to how you can add value in your future role and expand upon your resume highlights and accomplishments. Match your qualifications with employers' needs and show rather than tell by using specific examples. For example, initiated and led a 10-member school leadership committee with teacher representatives from each grade level to revamp the staff development plan. This initiative resulted in improved staff morale and was recognized and implemented as district-wide best practices in staff development. So you can see here how quantifiable, how specific this accomplishment is, and how much it is focused on results. So now let's put it all together by creating a career portfolio. A career portfolio allows you to provide specific examples of your academic and professional work and achievements. So again, it allows you to show, not only tell. It is a visual representation of your accomplishments. It provides proof of your knowledge and your performance, and it helps you set you apart from your competition. So what should you include in your portfolio, in your career portfolio? Here are a few suggestions you might want to consider. Your statement of school leadership or teaching philosophy can be included, a resume, professional certificates, transcripts, awards you received, examples of projects, initiatives, references, performance reviews, presentations that you've given, and many other artifacts. What are some additional ways to communicate your brand? Here are many examples of how you can expand your brand. You can develop a strong social media presence by creating a LinkedIn profile, leading and contributing to LinkedIn group discussions on important topics in your field, or starting your own LinkedIn group. Contributing to your school webpage, sharing your professional bio, e-resume, and or personal website, starting a blog on an educational topic you are passionate about. All of these are great ideas. And I recently worked with a student who aced his interview for a teaching position by designing sample lesson plans and hosting them on YouTube. So during the interview, he launched a video to share samples of his work on the spot, and this impressed his interviewer, and he landed the position. So think about in what creative ways can you further highlight your brand and showcase your strengths. Dr. Kumagai, could you share with us a few examples of how teachers have used school web pages and social media to expand their brand?
Well, both teachers and school leaders, like principals, have used Facebook and other kinds of social media to promote what they are doing in their classrooms and in their schools. Principals are also setting up Twitter accounts to develop support for their schools, to keep both the school community and the outside community aware of what's going on in the school, and to promote a positive image of themselves. And again, use of social media is another way to expand your brand, as Dina has mentioned. It needs to be used carefully because it can backfire, so you really need to be cautious about the kinds of things you put on social media and that you put through social media. But when it's used appropriately, it can be very effective in expanding your brand and, again, increasing your visibility among and within the school and the community. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Dr. Kumagai. Those are some great points. And also, as a word of caution, not mixing the personal and the professional on social media. You do have to be careful. But if you use, for instance, Twitter for professional networking and for sharing articles and for building your brand in a professional manner, it is really a great tool. And Dr. Kumagai, you mentioned the use of Twitter by principals to promote their schools and their brand and engage as thought leaders. And we are seeing more and more of that. So that is one of the reasons we're really highlighting Twitter in addition to LinkedIn. So many creative ways to communicate your brand. So whatever methods you decide to develop your brand, stay consistent and build upon your expertise. And here's an example of a K through 12 administrator who manages the Principle of Change blog, where he shares his knowledge and expertise with others. And here he highlights EdTech resources for educators. So again, an example of a creative way that one individual decided to expand his brand. So what tools can you use to further market your brand? Career Services Center's OptimalResume system can help you build resumes, cover letters, and career portfolios, and convert your portfolio into a website format. Optimal Resume also hosts over 100 resume samples by career field, along with cover letter and portfolio samples. Thousands of Walden students and alumni are currently using this very robust system. So register on Optimal Resume through the Career Services Center website or by going directly to waldenu.optimalresume.com and start creating your materials. Now that we've spent some time discussing networking and branding, let's go ahead and open it up for questions from our audience. So if you have questions for Career Services or Dr. Kumagai, please submit your questions through the questions box. And Nicole is with us today to field our questions.
Thank you, Dina. Actually, we have some questions coming in.
Wonderful.
One for you, Dina.
Mm-hmm.
The audience would like to know, is there someone at Walden who could assist with resumes?
We have
As I look at your sample,
team.
the student seems to be very impressed with the resume sample. She said she realizes hers is kind of vague.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we have many resources on our website and a full resumes and CVs tab with videos, and also an optimal resume system that I mentioned has over 100 resume samples by career field. But we also have a team of career services advisors available. So you could schedule an appointment with us through My Walden portal. And then we will call you during your scheduled appointment time. Also, when you're scheduling your appointment, I should mention that after your appointment time and date is reserved, you can go back and upload your resume. So during your appointment, we can chat with you over the phone and provide feedback on your document over the phone. So we don't edit or write the materials for you, but we can provide substantial feedback and refer you to the right samples to help you create a strong document you can use for networking and also for job search.
Great. Well, we have lots of questions coming in. So maybe I'll address this one to both of you. So the question is, how would I build my portfolio with an EDS degree? So maybe, Dina, you can talk about the tools Career Services has to create a portfolio, and maybe Dr. Kumagai could talk about some of the things that students might want to upload or add to their portfolio.
Excellent. So the career portfolio is a little bit different than an academic portfolio. You may, as part of your program or some of the education programs, do create academic portfolios, which include artifacts of academic projects and accomplishments. Now, the career portfolio, as I mentioned in an earlier slide, can include your statement of teacher leadership or administrator leadership. It could also include awards that you received, kudos. It could include performance reviews, letters of recommendations, transcripts, major projects or presentations that you worked on. So there are two kinds of career portfolios. You can create an online portfolio using Optimal Resume career portfolio tool and then convert it to a website format. So it looks very sharp as a personal website using the website builder in Optimal Resume. So that would be an online portfolio. So you can register on Optimal Resume through the Career Services Center website. We do have some short videos like getting started with Optimal Resume that can help you quickly learn how to use the system and then build your online portfolio. Now also, for interviews, many times it's helpful to have a tactile portfolio. So you could print out artifacts from your portfolio and put them into a folder or binder that you can bring to an interview, and that way you can open up your binder and show specific examples of your work. So the more that you can convey specific examples of what you've accomplished, the stronger you'll be able to win out your competition and highlight your brand. So I hope that answers the part about the career portfolio and building the portfolio. Dr. Kumagai, do you have more to add about portfolios?
I would just add that for EDS and MSED students in the Principal Licensure Program, you can certainly use your academic portfolio to build your career portfolio, because in your academic portfolio, for example, you have all your field experience artifacts, so you could put examples of the kinds of field experience activities and what you thought about them and what you did with them in your career portfolio. You also have course artifacts, and some of those might be appropriate in terms of demonstrating your knowledge. So for demonstrating knowledge and skills, you have course artifacts and field experience artifacts that you could draw upon to place in your career portfolio.
That's a great point, because your career portfolio can incorporate aspects of your academic knowledge in your academic portfolio. So it just goes a little beyond that to include a broader range of artifacts in addition to the academic program. So that's great.
Okay, great. Dina, another question. Does Career Services have CV samples for students?
We absolutely do. Absolutely. We have a whole resumes and CVs tab, and we have lots of tips and strategies on building CVs. We also every month host a CV cafe. So I believe we have one in October coming up, a CV cafe on Friday, October 9th at 12 noon Eastern. So you could engage with us through a webinar in that way. And there are also recordings of CV Cafe and creating your curriculum vitae. So we have recordings as well. And the Optimal Resume system has CV samples. So if you go to Optimal Resume, click on Resume Builder and look at the resume samples, the category of curriculum vitae has sample CVs. And again, you can always schedule an appointment, and we'd be happy to provide you feedback over the phone. And for those of you, I just wanted to mention, for those of you who may not be familiar with what a curriculum vitae is, it's an academic style resume that's commonly used for higher ed teaching, consulting, presenting at conferences.
Great. Another question, how might you contact potential employers through LinkedIn? Do you all have any recommendations?
I would say if you are interested in a particular company, organization, school, find out who works there, visit their website, and connect to those individuals through LinkedIn. And by connecting through LinkedIn, you also get to find out about their career path and take a look through their profile. So that could generate reasons to reach out based on common interest. So when you are networking with others within companies, organizations, or schools, you want to, let's say if you're part of the same professional associations you learn, or you have, served on the same committee, or have some common groups or interests, that would be a reason to maybe reach out to them and ask for an informational meeting. So connect with them over the phone, or if they're local in your area, you can even ask to meet them for coffee so that they can share their insights with you on what is it like to work at a specific school or district.
Okay, great. Okay, looks like we'll take a few more questions and then we can wrap up. How do I make the distinction between social and professional social media websites such as Facebook?
Okay, so Reid Hoffman is the founder of LinkedIn, and he says MySpace is like the bar, Facebook is like a backyard barbecue, and LinkedIn is like the office. So this is how Reid Hoffman separates those social media sites. Some people use Facebook professionally. LinkedIn is all about professional networking. So you have to have a social media strategy or plan. What platforms will you use socially, chatting with family and friends, and which ones will you use professionally? But even the ones that you are using socially, you have to be careful what you post. You still have to keep it semi-professional, because as an educator, as a leader, you don't want anything to show up that you would not want individuals in your professional community to see. I hope that answers the question.
And Dina, I'll just add that nowadays employees to see if you have an account, and if so, what have you posted?
Yeah, and that's a great point. There was a study done in 2013 through PC Magazine, and they found that 90% of recruiters, or 94% of
94,
recruiters.
yeah.
Yeah, 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn in some capacity during the job search. So that just, and the screening process. So that just tells you how important your social media presence is and has become.
Great. Okay, one more question. How much time are career advisors available to give a student feedback when developing and/or revising their resume or CV?
Great question. So the appointments are about 45 minutes, and we offer 3 appointments every 3-month time period. So in other words, we can meet with you up to 12 times a year. So this is substantial time that we can spend together and provide you substantial feedback on your documents. We do have these limitations simply because we want everyone to have an equal chance to schedule with us. But again, we are there to support you, and we also not only work with students, but also with alumni. So even after you graduate, you can schedule appointments with us, and we invite you to work with us through a series of appointments.
Great. That looks like that's it, Dina. Thank you. All did an excellent job there answering questions.
Great. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Dr. Kumagai. And thank you, audience, for your insightful questions and active participation. If your question was not answered today because of time constraints, please feel free to schedule a career advising appointment, and we will work with you individually. Okay, and with that, I'm going to take us to our next slide and conclude the presentation with some information about the Career Services Center. So we encourage you to visit the Career Services Center website for education-specific resources and additional webinars. And the Resources tab of our site includes resources for pre-K through 12 educators and administrators. So we have an entire resources tab with education links, including professional associations, job banks, and additional LinkedIn groups. So many resources for educators. And you want to watch our webinar recordings. We have over 80 career-related topics. And those include job search strategies for pre-K through 12 educators and career alternatives, marketability, and job search strategies for teachers, and many more. Register for our live webinars and cafes on the Career Services Center homepage, and connect with us by joining the Career Services LinkedIn group. I hope all of you are able to join after today's session, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way every time we have a new recording of a webinar, you'll be able to follow us and receive notifications of new programs. So that's a great way to stay connected. And read Walden student success stories on our blog, and watch our student spotlights on our homepage, and use the features of the OptimalResume system. So take advantage of this great system. You can access everything from our website or email us directly at careerservices@waldenu.edu. And with that, I would like to leave you with these wise words from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. So thank you so much for supporting Walden's social change mission through your work, and for your participation during today's program. And I would also like to thank you, Dr. Kumagai, for joining us today. Thank you for your wonderful insights and expertise on today's program.
You're welcome.